Hi folks, and welcome to the second part in our YARA tutorial series, Hunting with YARA Rules. So if you followed our previous example, you know that we built a simple rule that looks for the run key text in a file. Now for this example, we're going to be using
UnpacMe,
which is our own platform. It's free to use, and once you register, you'll be given access to scan our sample repository with your YARA rules. So here we have the UnpacMe interface. If I go up to YARA Hunt and then I go to New Hunt, I open a interface to start a new hunt. I'm just going to paste in our rule here, and I'm going to leave it unchanged from the previous example. All we're doing here is looking for the run key registry key in any file. There are no special conditions here. We're just looking for the text. This is what we consider a very loose hunting rule, and likely it's full of false positives. It's really only good for hunting. So at the top of UnpacMe here, we have a bunch of different sample repositories that you can select when hunting. In a future tutorial, I'm going to talk more about why you might want to target your rule for specific repositories. But in this case, I'm just going to select submissions, and I'm going to turn off labeled artifacts and unlabeled artifacts, and I'm also going to select Goodware. Goodware is a repository of known non-malicious or benign files, which is useful for testing your YARA rule if you're going to deploy it in the wild. You want to make sure that your YARA rule isn't matching on any non-malware samples, as this could cause some problems for you. In this case, this is just a hunting rule, and it's a simple example. I expect it probably will match on some Goodware samples. So now if we scroll down, we have a few extra options at the bottom of the hunt page here. We have scan assist, fast scan, and store offsets. Again, I'll talk about this in a future tutorial, but for now, let's just leave them the way they are. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on validate, and I'm going to validate our rule to make sure that we haven't messed up the syntax and to make sure that it is at least efficient enough that it is going to run properly across the corpus. Sometimes you can write valid rules that are very inefficient, which again I'll talk about in a future tutorial series, and those very inefficient rules just don't make a lot of sense to run across the malware corpus without tightening them up a little bit. So now that our validation has completed here, we've passed all the tests, let's click scan and scan for files that set the registry key. So now we've launched our scan. In general, scans will complete within about 2 minutes. And if you are a free user, you get a 12-week look-back period. This means that you can scan samples that we have received within the past 12 weeks. There are other account plans that allow you to scan further back, up to a year, but in this case, we're just using a free account with 12 weeks. Now in this case, the scan took a bit longer than 2 minutes because, as I mentioned, this is a very loose hunting rule, and it's going to match on a lot of samples that maybe aren't what we're looking for, but they're going to match that string anyway. So we can see here we have a lot of results, and if we scroll down a little bit, we can see we've not only matched malware, but we've also matched a bunch of Goodware samples as well. If we look in the Goodware here, we can scroll down and see there's a bunch of Microsoft binaries, as well as other applications that matched on our search. Scrolling down further, we can see in the results here all of the malware that is matched on our rule. To make it easier to understand what exactly you've matched on, we have some insights listed at the top of the results here, which can tell you the types of files that matched on the rule, the distribution of size of files that matched on the rule, as well as any labels that we have applied to the files that have matched. You can see here that many different malware families have matched on this hunting rule, and that's not a surprise as many different malware families use the run key as a persistence method. If you wanted to continue your hunt, from here you can now go and filter the results and identify samples that you might want to look at. In our case, we just wanted to demonstrate hunting with a rule, so we're not going to go any further. But again, if you were looking for a specific file or malware family, you would be able to use the filter here to filter in and hone in on exactly what you're looking for. So that brings to a conclusion our demo here. Stay tuned for the next demo where we'll begin to talk about different use cases for YARA and how you can use YARA in different scenarios.